Hey everybody, it's your girl Nisi. We are back at it again. We're gonna read some Reddit stories. I have two for you, and let's just get into it.
Under the sun, we're shining bright, talking that ish, day and night. Life, laughs, and a little fun. Welcome to the show, let's get it done. Real talk, no scripts to run. Truth hits harder when the beat goes dumb. Podcast, gaming, vibes in one. Yeah, we're talking that ish, come get some.
Alright, the first story I have for you is about 2 days old. It is called Am I the Asshole for Refusing to Give My Boyfriend Access to My Bank Account, even though he says no secrets is how adults do it? This is given to us by Copperfield No in Am I the A-hole? Okay. I'm 27 female and my boyfriend is a 30-year-old male. Together a little over 2 years. We live together and split bills pretty evenly. No shared accounts. I make a bit more than him, about 15K a year more. And he has a stable job and pays his part on time. The conflict started this week when he told me he wants to be fully transparent financially because we're talking about getting engaged this year. I thought he meant sitting down, pulling credit reports, talking goals, that kind of thing. Instead, he asked for my online banking login so he can see everything in real time. I laughed because I honestly thought he was joking. He wasn't. He said couples who plan a future shouldn't have private money, and that I'm refusing it means I'm hiding something. I told him I'm not hiding anything. I just want a person able to move money around or look at every grocery purchase I make at 11 p.m. He said he wouldn't touch anything. He just wants visibility. I offered a compromise. We can make a shared spreadsheet. I can show him statements once a month. We can open a joint account just for rent and bills, and we can both put in our share. He got irritated and said that's not the same, and that my compromises are basically keeping a wall up. Then he dropped a line that made my stomach flip. If you trust me enough to sleep next to me, you should trust me with a password. I said that's not how trust works. I pointed out I also don't have his passwords either. He said I can have them anytime, and he acted like that proves he's the only reasonable adult in the room. I asked why he suddenly needs this now. He said he doesn't want to find out later that I have debt, or that I'm sending money to someone, or that I'm buying things I shouldn't. That felt gross. Like I was being pre-accused. I told him I have no debt besides my student loans. My credit is fine, and I've never hidden purchases. He said he believes me, but he wants receipts. I swear those exact words came out of his mouth. I told him no, and that if he keeps pushing, I'm going to start wondering what he is trying to keep track of, because demanding my login isn't normal. He got quiet and then went cold, like polite angry. He said I'm making a simple thing into a big deal, and that I'm acting like he's some kind of thief. Since then, he's been sulking and making these little comments like, must be nice to have a private life, and guess we're not on that level. Yesterday, he even asked if I'd be okay with him installing a budgeting app that links accounts, then he could see the dashboard. Same answer, no. Now he just says I'm sabotaging our future and that I'm being controlling by not letting him in. I feel like I'm losing my mind because I'm not just saying we can't talk about money. I'm just saying I'm not handing over access to my actual bank. So, am I the a-hole for refusing and digging my heels in on this? No, you're not the a-hole. My peanut gallery also thinks you're not the a-hole. So, for me, I just want you to know I understand the whole couple sharing money, but if it's not necessarily for you to cover your bills, you have the right to spend your money the way you want to spend your money. Now, you might be putting away for, retirement, all of this stuff, but it's one thing to be like, hey, if you want to ask me to see what's going on banking wise, like you said, that's fine. You can show them, Excel spreadsheets, bank statements, that type of thing. Things that don't allow him direct access to your money. It doesn't matter if you're single, engaged, married, you should have some money that is your money. It's not a joint effort all the way. Now, if you have joint expenses, yes, you guys should be sharing those things jointly. Like you said, makes sense. Have a joint account. But what doesn't make sense is to completely just switch over to giving him all of what you own. Like, what happens now that he has your password? You guys get in an argument or you break up. He has access to your stuff, and the bank can't tell when someone's logged into your account. Is that you or is that not you? Because if he's got the login, they're going to assume it's you. And if he spends all your money, then what? You've given him the password. That's essentially giving him the okay. Um, I don't think that's the best thing for you. Prairie Girl 5263 said, "Not the a-hole. Your boyfriend wants to tap your bank account." My partner and I share a home, vehicles, bills, friends, joys, troubles, and inside jokes, but not accounts for info or access. Yep, been married a long time and I know some log information that has been willingly given, but bank account logins are secret. Even joint accounts, we have our own. This guy is sus, and I'm wondering what he's trying to hide, making projection look like the next Olympic sport. These two pretty much summed it up. No. There's no reason for you to give your stuff over. There just really isn't. And I think that everyone is not going to blame you for that, and that you should definitely just keep your peace. 100% keep your peace. It's not worth it. It really isn't. So that's all my advice on that particular story. If we get an update, I will tune you guys into that. But as of right now, I'm going to get into the next story. The next story is going to be in Revenge Stories. It's by Trinity Signal, and it is called "My Coworker Kept Forgetting My Name in Meetings, so I let her do it in front of the one person she wanted to impress." I, a 32-year-old female, work in a fairly small office where everyone knows everyone's business, even if we all don't pretend we don't. There's this woman on my team, Kara, female in her late 20s, who's very good at being nice in ways that feels sharp. She smiles and compliments your shoes. She uses exclamation points, and then she tries to slide a little pin under your skin. For months, she's been doing this thing where she forgets my name in group settings. Not in the normal awkward way, but in a pointed way. She looks right at me and goes, "Can you send that file, what's your name again?" And while everyone stares, the first time I laughed it off, because honestly, I assumed she was just frazzled. The second time, I corrected her, and she did the whole, "Oh my god, I'm so sorry, I am terrible with names" routine. Even though we sit 10 feet apart, I worked together for over a year. After that, it became a pattern of only in meetings, when others people are watching, always right after I contributed something. If I had an idea, she repeat it and then call me honey, girl, like we were at brunch, not work. I started feeling smaller every time it happened, which made me mad at myself because why am I letting a grown woman treat me like an unnamed assistant? I tried direct, calm. I pulled her aside after a meeting and said, Hey, I know you just been a lot happening. My name is OP, and it matters to me that we use it. She got wide eyed and apologized, and she said she had ADHD and her brain just blanks. I believed her for about a week until she introduced a new contractor correctly by full name, title, where he went to school, while still blanking on mine. When she started doing it in emails too, hi, can you do this? Thanks. No name, no greeting to me specifically, just a vague task drop. It sounds petty, I know, but it adds up. Especially since because she would always sign off with her full name, credentials, little inspirational quote, the whole brand. It felt like she really wanted to be the only woman in the room with an identity. Yeah, she's playing games with the right one, it looks like. Because it looks like you said, I'm going to try patience. I'm going to give grace. And this is before I even read all of it. And now I'm going to have to try being an asshole. At the end of the day, do what you got to do to make things right. But no, I'm saying this in advance so I don't get sued. Sometimes what you think is right is not always the best solution. But sometimes not always the best solution is warranted to get the outcome that you want because people are not paying attention to how you feel. So, a little revenge, even petty, is always welcome. But use it with caution. Okay. Here's where the revenge part comes in. We have a quarterly review meeting with leadership, and Kara has been talking for weeks about how impressing our new director is. She would rehearse phrases out loud like, we need to move the needle, and I'm excited about the roadmap. And she kept mentioning how she planned to ask for a promotion. I didn't want to ruin her life or anything. I just wanted the behavior to stop. The meeting starts and we're all in the conference room and Kara's in full performance mode. She talks a lot, she interrupts, she's laughing at the director's jokes a little too hard. And then we get to my part. I present a project update clearly with numbers. The director nods, asks a follow-up, I answer. Kara waits until I finish and then she says out loud, "Sweet, Brainpoint, what's your name again?" She looks right at me with an innocent face like she's doing a bit. I felt my pulse in my throat. And I made a decision. I smiled back and said calmly, "It's the same name as the last 20 times, Kara. I'm surprised you can remember every man's name in this room, but not mine." It wasn't shouted. It wasn't sarcastic. It was just a statement. The room went dead silent. Kara's smile froze. The director looked at her with this flat expression and said, "Yeah, that's not a great look." Kara started stammering about her brain and being overwhelmed, but the moment had already landed. I didn't pile on. I just turned back to the director and kept going, like the meeting mattered more than Kara's little game. After that, Kara barely spoke. And when the meeting ended, she cornered me by the coffee machine and hissed that I embarrassed her. I told her very softly, "Good. Now stop." She hasn't forgotten my name once since. She hasn't been friendly, which is honestly a relief. I know wasn't some cinematic takedown, but it felt like finally taking my space back. And I'm really proud I did what I did without raising my voice. Round of applause. Great, 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 great. You did it in the best way possible, and I am so proud of you. You did it just enough to grab her attention, but just enough to also tell everybody that you stand on business. Because yes, you can present all these numbers, and yes, you can look confident, but when you exude confidence and you prove that you are the best of who you are, best for your position, without shouting, without saying, pick me, pick me, pick me, and doing everything that Kara was doing in that one meeting, you look like the best next option. You look like the best next thing because you did it in a professional way, but you made sure and made it clear that my boundary is you being rude and disrespectful. My boundary is you not acknowledging the fact that I put input, time, and effort just like you do. There's no one more important than your teammates when you're working together. But if you don't stand on business, if you don't stand firm on who you are, it allows people to trample over you. And Kara thought she could do that. And I'm so, so proud of you for standing your ground and just not letting that happen. I mean, from beginning to end, you sound like, you understand your purpose, you understand the reason behind the job, and everything that came with it. I just wish that you didn't let it go so long before standing your ground. I mean, yes, it happens a couple times, but like by the fourth time, you should have been like, yo, Kara, I understand that you have, your little issues with your memory and all that. And I wish I could wear a name tag for you, but my name is OP. It has been OP since you started working here. We have been here for over a year. Get it together. It's OP. And if you don't stop, I'm going to go to HR because this is workplace harassment. Like that would have deaded it a long time ago. But you let it go on a little too long for my taste. But what can I say? At the end of the day, you did what was best for you and best for you in that situation. But I am so proud of you for standing up for yourself because no one else is going to do it for you. No one else is going to be like, oh, I can do da da da. They're just going to see her do it and then they're going to do it. But you stood your ground in an appropriate place and I applaud you for that. The first couple comments that we have is, any idea why she picked you for her little game? Are you the only woman? But nice. The next person, and that was Curiously Flavored. Warm Smirky said, for real, props. Just saw you as the only other, probably just saw you as the only other woman with some presence and got insecure. Classic movie. Caution 2 said, sounds like internalized misogyny. Edit. Kind of hilarious how many dudes are replying to me so confidently incorrect about what internalized misogyny is. I really think that you stood your ground where you needed to stand your ground, and it looks like it's working out for you. Boo Boo Kitty F word. Sounds like she's the Office Regina George. You handle that all so very well. The Overpass Dratini said, her hair is so big because it's full of secrets, but not the ability to remember names apparently. If you know, you know. And then Old Still 3321. It's good general rule not to do something that makes you look bad. ADHD brain and bad with names are both bad in business. Exactly. There's no reason she should have forgotten your name, especially as many times as for as long as you've been working together. The comments and I pretty much are on the same page on this, and good for you standing up for yourself. Thank you. I appreciate all the hard work you do in that office, but especially the fact that you shut down your bully. I appreciate that.
That's the vibe, that's the dish. Thanks for tuning to Talking That Ish. We laugh, we talk, we keep it real. Every topic, every feel. From the mic to the game we run. Another session, yeah, that's the one. Hit that like, you know the drill. Talking That Ish, we're vibing still.